Has a critical turning point been reached in the Russia-Ukraine war? Is the hope for peace close? And how did Turkey come to the fore again? We have witnessed and watched a rapid progress in a very short period of time. Can you tell us about it?
Turkey served as the negotiating platform where tangible solutions were found during the conflict in Ukraine. Many wondered why the peace process, which was close to being finalized in Istanbul, came to a sudden halt. While Ukraine had its reasons, it was unclear why the two sides were once again engulfed in a violent war. However, there is renewed hope, and Turkey, specifically Istanbul, stands as a beacon of that hope where discussions can recommence. Despite the significant time, years, and loss of life that have transpired, we have the opportunity to rectify these losses. The process was kick-started by an unusual move from Putin, who, in response to European pressures and Trump's stance on sanctions, publicly declared Russia's commitment to the peace agenda. Putin, not known for such actions, addressed the press at an unexpected time, solely delivering a lengthy statement criticizing Europe and outlining Russia's perspectives. He emphasized Russia's willingness to engage in negotiations with Ukraine, placing the blame for disruptions on Ukraine. Putin proposed resuming talks in Istanbul, signaling a near start date of May 15th. This initiative signifies a potential turning point in the conflict, opening doors for peaceful discussions and diplomatic resolutions. The choice to pursue negotiations in Istanbul showcases a strategic decision to continue where progress was abruptly halted. As the world watches these developments unfold, there is cautious optimism that a peaceful resolution may be within reach if both sides are committed to the negotiating table. But there is a very important detail here. Look, Putin is not saying let's negotiate a ceasefire. He directly says let's discuss peace. And he did not specify a format in this statement. He just said, let's sit at the table, but no one thinks that he said, let's have a face-to-face meeting with Zelensky. In fact, Putin did not propose a meeting between the leaders in the statements coming from Russia. However, what occurred next? Trump then endorsed the Russian statement with a post. Trump started his post by underlining the following: Putin does not want a ceasefire. He wants to directly discuss stopping this bloodbath in Turkey. Let him sit at the table in Ukraine. Therefore, he said they should discuss whether this is possible or not, and this meeting should be held immediately. As soon as he said this, we are in the days when that Twitter diplomacy is revived again on social media from Zelensky. A post came and Zelensky said, I am coming to Turkey personally. He said he would personally wait for Putin in Turkey on Thursday. Now, this is a critical exit. It is said that Zelensky may have actually called Putin's bluff. So, because Russia is always in the position that we want negotiations, Ukraine avoids direct negotiations with us, then let's set up a table in Istanbul and see if Ukraine will come. But Zelensky took it one step further and said, I am coming. This is for once, Russia can be seen as the side that does not want to negotiate. Will Putin come? I mean, most probably not, because this is not what Putin means.
It's almost as if he's attempting to demonstrate apologizes. The United States is both actively involved in and monitoring the ceasefire. You can clearly see who is causing the disruption. Indeed, I am present and patiently waiting, but I cannot help but wonder if he has chosen to remain absent.
But now there is also this, in terms of the natural logic of the diplomatic process. In order for the leaders to come together, a lot of things have to be done first. There should be meetings at the level of deputy ministers, at the technical level, at the level of foreign ministers, so that in the final stage the leaders can agree on a meeting. Let's consider the conclusion of a negotiation meeting. However, at this point, the two parties are quite far from reaching an agreement. Thus, any move made by Zelensky may not be matched by the other side. Statements have already been made by Russia, though the specific format and delegation remain uncertain. Despite this, there is potential for swift progress. While Zelensky has expressed his intention to attend, it is highly unlikely that Putin will be present. Despite these uncertainties, one fact remains true. Turkey serves as a reliable intermediary in the peace process. The finder mentioned that Russia has repeatedly expressed their preference for direct talks without the involvement of Turkey. Despite acknowledging Turkey's role in the negotiations, the Kremlin has made it clear that they do not want the talks to be held in a third country. Putin himself confirmed that he would meet with President Erdogan in Istanbul, emphasizing the importance of direct communication. It is noteworthy that Turkey has earned the trust not only of the US but also of Russia and Ukraine, underscoring their significance in the diplomatic arena. Because this is what it means to move to the stage of diplomacy. But on the other hand, there are still a lot of question marks when the two sides are so close to getting closer to each other. And there is a lot of, let's say, political games, actually. Putin is a smart leader. Zelensky has Ukraine, France, England behind him. He is already trying to set up a game with the soufflés he receives from them, and he can checkmate the kings. This is how I interpret it. Zelensky drew checkmate to Putin's king for a meeting in Istanbul by saying, "I'm coming." But let's see what the format of the meeting will be.